Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on June 11th, 1/1/2025. We've got an action-packed show as usual. Let's see who's here. Tommy Pistachio Elascio, welcome to the Recruiting Animal Show.
What's up, Animal?
I'm going to teach you something here today that you didn't expect to learn, okay? And too bad Rich isn't here yet because he has to learn that lesson as well, okay? Are you ready? Where
ready.
are you, bud? Tell us where you are. Going to a horse farm or something like that?
My son is driving a trailer back from an RV we picked up.
Okay, what's your son's name?
Cayman. Hey, how you doing?
Eamon. Hi, you're welcome to participate, okay? Do you have a six-pack, Eamon? Do you have a six-pack?
No, I don't.
Okay, neither does your dad, neither do I, neither does Rich Rosen, who's in fantastic shape, very muscular. He wears a tight shirt so we can see it all the time. Okay, now Andy Elliott, you might remember, I've talked about him before. He's a sales trainer, okay? And he's also very muscular, pumped up. You're freezing. And he says if you don't have a six-pack, you are a loser. You are not going to be successful. Remember I talked about that?
Okay. Yeah, that's why I'm not successful. My life is horrible.
Yeah.
I don't have a six-pack.
Okay. But I found out by listening to Andrew Huberman, the health podcaster, about how to get a six-pack. And it's very surprising. And it came from Pavel Tsatsouline. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's famous for making kettlebells popular in the United States. Eamon, are you with me on this? Are you listening?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. And you guys have a lot of strange names in your family. I've noted that before, okay? Tommy's not strange, but he spells it with an H. Okay. Anyway, so this is what Pavel says. Do you want to hear, Tom? I'm not going to force this down your throat. I just want to help you and everybody else who's listening.
To do that, you have to pay money, right, to do it. But most liquor stores sell them. It's easy to get a six-pack.
I don't know what you're talking. Oh, 6 packs of beer. No, this is 6 packs of belly. Okay, 6 packs of belly, and it's the key. But the thing is, it's the key to success. Okay, especially in sales. That's what Andy's selling, okay? So here's what you do. You inhale through your nose or through your pursed lips. You can't do it with your mouth open wide. And then, so that's supposed to go down to your core. If you do it that way, it goes down to your core. And then you pull in on your butt, okay? You could say it. He says, imagine you have to go to the washroom and it's at a distance, so you're holding it in, okay? You can just say tighten your anus if you want to be frank about it, okay? So you tighten your pelvic floor or your butt muscles, and you've got that air in there, right? And then you exhale. I don't know if you guys can hear me because your throat's in. You exhale like this through your teeth. You put you hiss. You put your tongue near your teeth, and you go. You should feel that in your abs. You're following me? Are you guys hearing me?
I
don't know. Okay, you got it. Yeah, okay, because you're frozen. So it's not going to happen overnight. You have to do it every day, or even when you're doing weightlifting. That's how you breathe. And you can look it up, or I could post it. And this actually does have an effect. I've been doing it for a while. I don't have a washboard stomach. I've never even come close. But I've got more shape down there than I've ever had before. So I'm looking at, maybe Andy Elliott, I'm going to graduate, okay? If Pavel is right, I might graduate into the realm of the successful six-packer someday, okay? So that's the revelation. That's the big one, okay? And
I agree with it. I mean, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, I agree with that. That seems like it would work.
Not only that, it's easy. It's not hard. You could do it while you're working, okay? A little break. And now, Eamon, I'm happy that a young guy gets to learn it, okay? So when you're 50 years old, you won't have to complain. I've never had a six-pack, and I'm super successful. Okay, what about this? Okay, let's get into the serious questions. I saw a photo of Hung Lee this week, Okay. And he was, he takes these pictures of himself at all the conferences he goes to with a very big smile with other people. And this one, he was wearing these big sunglasses, but I thought it was a fantastic picture. I said it would be great as a professional picture. And I posted it on my Facebook group and asked that question. Nobody thought you could have sunglasses in a professional photo like on LinkedIn. What do you say, Thomas?
So I said, didn't you see, they do it right here, Cameron. Didn't you see my comment? My comment was, it's fine if he's owns a sunglass company or he's blind.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if he's Ray Charles. Yours was Tesla. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that really what it comes down to is that if he's blind or he owns a sunglass company or something like that, then yeah, not a problem. But I don't get why you would wear them otherwise.
I just thought it was a great photo. Eamon, what does a young person think? Sunglasses in a professional photo? Do you have an opinion?
Fuck yeah. He's like me.
He talks like you. That's right. Can't hear a word you're saying. Can't hear anything. Okay, he's disappeared. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I liked it. I thought that photo was fantastic. You know what? But everybody's against me, and they might be right. It's just not professional. Nobody will buy it. An employer or a client. Oh well. What the hell? Oh, you know what? While they're gone, I'm going to tell you, Rich Rosen brags that he's got a guy now who's doing his postings. He does his postings for him on LinkedIn. Now, if you watch this show, Rich is a fantastic conversationalist, a really good storyteller. Okay, for some reason, to write it out, he needs to pay this guy, and the guy is not bad. Okay, but what he pictures, he tells the stories that we've heard here before, and kind of with the braggadocio that Rich brings, but it's a little overstated. It kind of makes Rich seem like a gunslinger, and I just think he should tone it down a bit. I liked it, though. I liked it. He posted one about Rich where Rich knew the VP of sales or something from a company was a really bad guy. So he sent out a bunch of emails. It's a complicated story. He sent out a bunch of emails to the people on his sales team. And the title, the subject line was, "Tired of working for an asshole." That's really funny. It's witty. I love it. Okay. So what about this? In order to motivate people, and that's a perfect example, recruiters have to point out negatives. What don't you like about your current job? And so what about, as a subject line, what sucks about your current job? Okay, because even if you call someone and she says, "Hey, Billy, I'm happy where I am. I don't want to move right now." Well, you would say, well, look, if hypothetically, something came my way that I would just, be dying to tell you about, what would it be? Okay. So she tells you what's missing from her current job. You know what? I think Tom is still on. I keep seeing this blue screen. I hope I'm recording. I think I'm recording, but I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so what sucks about your current job? I kind of like that as a subject line. I think it would be the same as the glasses. I like it. The sunglasses. Nobody else is going to like that. Okay. And our friend Ewan, who over in Switzerland, who he's a recruiter over there, an IT recruiter. He's got another angle. I don't agree with him. He thinks a subject line that would be a good pattern interrupt, that would be surprising, catch the eye, would be "I love you." I don't think so. And everybody in the comments, when I posted that, nobody thought so either. So I wish there was someone else here to bounce it off, but not today. Okay. I saw a while ago this video, a clip from a video from the Seinfeld. and I can't remember the context, but he's at the diner, or Monk's, or wherever they go, with some girl. He's got in the show. He's going out with a different young woman every week, and she wants to break up with him, right? So she feels nervous about it, and she broaches the issue, and he says, "Fine, great, okay, no problem, okay." And she's shocked, okay? And she said, "Well, don't you feel bad about this?" That No, he says, I feel great, no problem, don't worry about it. And it's so refreshing, okay? And lots of recruiters are worried when they make cold calls that people are going to get mad at them. They can't stand when people say, "I don't like you," or "I don't." That's it. Don't bug me, right? But if they could only take that sign, I can't remember what the setup was. In fact, I don't think I ever knew why was Jerry so cheerful about it, because he wasn't particularly insensitive to insults, if I remember the show clearly. I haven't seen it for a long time, although I was a fan. But you call up a candidate or someone you'd like to recruit, get out of here, hang up, bam, and you say, "Hey, okay, no problem." I love that, okay? And a person who can do that, they're super strong. They're Superman, Wonder Women. That's incredible. You're a Superman. If you can do that, be happy when someone doesn't like you, it's fantastic, okay? That's one of the number one virtues I think you can have in the world, in life. Not many people have it. They're even tough guys who don't have to worry about getting beat up. They're very sensitive. Look at Tony Soprano. You couldn't say that to him. You could not insult any of those mafia guys, okay? Well, why not? Who cares? Who cares what people say? I mean, why would Tony Soprano care what I thought, okay? If I actually wanted to make a move on his territory, he could crush me, okay? So my yak doesn't mean anything. Nothing at all. Let me see if what else I can talk about. Okay, here's a very funny situation.
What is she
The client
wants me to reply to something.
Okay. Okay. I've gone through a lot of stuff while you were gone. Did you hear any of it?
I listened to some of it, but I didn't hear all of it.
Okay. Well, I'll have to ask you the same questions. Okay. But here's one right now. Okay.
Yep.
The client makes an offer to your candidate. This is one of the most horrible situations I can imagine. The candidate accepts. The candidate resigns. And then the client rescinds the offer. For some reason, they decided they're not going to fill that position now. Okay?
I had that happen. I've had that happen.
Did you bill your client? Did you bill the client? Why not?
No. Because well, first of all, it didn't go past the warranty, and the guy had not he accepted, but he hadn't showed up for work yet.
You know, you got a point about the warranty, but they screwed it up. Okay, I guess that's a terrible. How did you feel when you had to go back?
It was really, really bad. It was really, really bad because he had already resigned, but his company took him back.
They did.
Yeah.
Oh boy, what a terrible situation.
Oh, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
Okay, well, so you had to take a break to get a drink on the showtime. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, look who's here. The Gunslinger. That's the new name I've got for Richie Rich Rosen.
Richie's here.
And you know why? Because he's got this guy doing his postings for him now. And Rich tells a good story. Everybody here knows that. Rich is a good conversationalist. Everybody likes to brag, but in a way that it's not bad. I admire him when he tells these stories about the great things he does, okay? But this guy, his alter ego, does it to make him seem a little too arrogant, if you ask me, okay? Rich posted about,
Nobody asked you.
Okay, well, I'm asking myself. It's my show. Okay.
Should we go, Tom? Are we interrupting this conversation?
Rich goes to Turkey and haggles with some kind of street carpet sellers.
It was Morocco, not Turkey.
Well, Morocco, same thing. And
Oh my God.
It's that haggling culture, okay? Same language as well. And so Rich pounds his chest in this posting. I haggled. I talked this guy down. That wasn't his point. His point was, hey, I thought about it after. In American money, it's $1. Who cares? Who cares?
Exactly.
You get-
Exactly.
You get caught up in the moment. Oh, dude, you're so funny. I literally was pulling my wife and daughter out of the cab. I'm like, nope, fuck it. We're not doing it. I wanted to pay 50. He wanted 70. I'm like, nope. It was like midnight. My daughter's like, Dad, what are you doing? I'm like, oh yeah, it's $2. Yeah, it was really funny.
Okay, but
I had a coworker that would drive like 20 miles to go get gas that was 4 cents cheaper a gallon. This is when gas was high 20 years ago or whatever. He
Yep.
drove the truck too. I'm like,
Yeah,
Keith,
yeah.
what are you doing? Oh, I'm saving, 20-gallon tank. I'm saving $80 or whatever. I go, dude, it cost you $1 to drive there.
Yeah,
You
and
never
home.
looked at gas again.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
yeah, I was going over to my friend's place, and it's a bit of a distance from here. And then I saw this big lineup at a gas station. I went, what's going on here? It's something great, right? Yeah, they had a few. We sell them by liters. It was a few cents a liter cheaper. I wondered how much they actually saved. Okay. Okay. So what about this? Here's another one Rich bragged about through his alter ego about an email that had a great smart ass subject line. What about this one, Rich? What if you just put in the subject line, what sucks about your current job?
Good.
Yeah, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, I got no problem with that.
I don't think it would go over very well.
Not in Canada. I mean, God Lord, everyone's so nice. You know.
I think it would definitely get read. I think it would get read.
Really?
Yeah. It will totally get read.
You
Wow.
might get deleted. You might get a bad response, but it'll get read.
Who cares, dude? That's the whole thing. Any response is a good freaking response. Stop worrying about everyone liking you. Who gives a shit?
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you animal, you're so worried about that. This is not a popularity contest. There's a recruiter in Texas. This guy, I don't know if he's still around, but he was a complete asshole. Like all my clients hated him, and candidates hated him, but they were afraid of him, which isn't a good thing. I mean, this guy had a radio show and everything, like a real radio show, not a podcast. But clients hated him, but he would scare the shit out of candidates and say, listen, if you don't work with me, you're going to be blackballed in Texas. And people are dumb. They believed him. You don't, and this, listen, I wouldn't work like that, but this guy's, that guy made a lot of money.
I knew a few recruiters like that the clients would say, yeah, he made a placement, but God, I am exhausted after this search. It was just a tax to work with the guy. Like I've heard that.
Yeah. It's it's a crazy market out there, crazy world. And you do not need to be loved. You need to be respected. Big difference.
Okay. Can people respect you if you take your professional photos with sunglasses?
Depends how you look. Look at you. If you wear the good hat and the glasses, why wouldn't they?
Okay, I got Rich. Also, I want to see what this guy you told us was so great was doing for you. So I go to your page regularly because I never see your stuff otherwise. And I got to tell you, I've posted way better pictures of you than that AI picture. Okay, I don't have sports. I have struggled to get good or interesting photos of you guys. If you go through
every single one of my photos is the weirdest fucking photo of me, bro. Every time.
Some of them are great.
Listen, Tommy, we can't be everything. You can't be big billers and good looking. So this is what you get.
That's true.
You want to be other.
No, hold on. I post pictures of you guys that are vibrant, okay? And especially, but anyway, okay.
Vibrant. If you're using that word, I don't think you know what it means.
I guess I don't.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Rich. What about this one? I already asked Tommy, but Tom. Okay. Well, this is from Ewan, our friend Ewan. Subject line: I love you.
I'd probably stay away from that one.
Yeah, I stay away from that one too.
He thought it was a good pattern interrupt. Okay.
It's something. I mean,
it is
To my clients after I leave the house. I
not
love you
what I would
guys.
probably use. Not what I probably use.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Animal, you'll like. I have a new podcast coming up. I recorded. I'm going to put up probably today or tomorrow.
Okay.
You'll-
Okay. I'll keep posted. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's what Rich advises corporate recruiting managers. It's again from his LinkedIn. I'm a fan now. Rich says, before doing a search, if I was a corporate recruiting manager at a big company, I'd do a marketing blitz so the target market knows about my company before the recruiters call them. Rich, isn't that what you said?
You're gonna have to repeat that.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I knew he was going to screw around
If-
with me on
if,
this. No, I never said that.
Actually, if you said
Well,
that,
let
that's
me
actually
make
not a
sure
bad
you
idea.
understand.
That actually is a good
Hold on.
idea.
I didn't hear. I honestly didn't hear what you said.
Before you do a big search, before you do, get the marketing guys to flood the market to, your target market, so they know about the target guys know about your company.
Yeah.
Before the recruiters call. Okay.
Well, no.
That's a
Well, that
really
wasn't
good-
about recruiting. That was about salespeople. That's about salespeople. When you're building a startup company, companies always want to hire sales guys first, which honestly is great for me. But I'm actually going to place a marketing guy hopefully this week too. But I think they should hire the marketing guy first. So there's some groundswell out there. There's some marketing material already floated. The name is not completely net new, because now you're paying a bunch of reps, a lot of money, opposed to, getting a marketing guy involved, which is, he's going to get there a month or two ahead of time. He's going to start seeding the ground. He's going to start doing posts and campaigns and other things. So that when the rep calls, they are,
Okay, but it's the same thing for
That
recruiters.
is
Tom said,
absolutely
I
a
like
great
that
a
idea.
great point, Rich. That's a great point. That's a great
Yeah.
point.
yeah. I mean, it works great for recruiters too, but we don't have marketing teams, most of us.
And it's hard to market
Okay.
like our client, but we could market ourselves before we start making calls. Don't go in there because it's got diesel efficient. Yeah, go ahead and go.
There you go.
We could make marketing calls and we could do some marketing, but a company, like you said, they can stand on the rooftops and say, hey, we're, XYZ
XYZ.
SaaS software, right?
Yeah.
And
Would you
when you
see
get
the
a call
post
from
yesterday?
XYZ company,
Like this lady on Mark Whitby's podcast, she goes, there's a mixed school in this, right? So how do you guys feel about it? I don't like it personally. Putting the company name in your email post. So, and she's like, oh, I never get, she's like earlier on, people went around her. She wrote this contract up. Supposedly people don't go around her anymore. Who knows? But it's just saying, hey, I'm recruiting for XYZ company. I just think you're playing with fire personally.
hey, there is that you have to walk that line on how good of a relationship you have with your client and whether or
Very
not
much.
you can say I got that guy came from my email blast, right? And they're willing to
But
agree.
The other problem is too, it's kind of lazy recruiting, in one hand, because now you're saying, hey, Animal, go check out company XYZ. You may have no clue what these guys do if you look at the site, but trust me, you should call me back. Like, you've got to expect these guys that, one, they're not going to tell their friends, and maybe I'm neurotic about it, but they're not going to tell a buddy. They're not going to go direct. That they're actually
I'll pay you back.
they're actually going to look at the site and then be interested before you even hear the story about the company. And that's the last one is the biggest one.
Are you still talking about this
This
marketing
doesn't
blitz?
have these-
So you
I
send
need
out
to go over this.
information about the company before you recruit? Is that what you're talking about?
No, about people when they're emailing candidates with the company name in the email.
Yeah, it's no good for us. Okay, that you made it specific.
You can't
in
make
your
that
posting.
left. You got to make it right.
You made it specific that in your posting it was if you were an internal recruiting manager. Okay.
Tommy and I,
Hard now.
and it wasn't about an internal recruiter. It was a company, not a recruiter. My post was about software companies, not recruiting companies.
No, it wasn't about a recruiting company, but it was about a recruiting effort inside a big billion-dollar company. I can go there and quote you if I want to.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think you're mixing two stories up.
Oh yeah. Okay. Eamon,
Eamon's here, okay? And Tom's son is here, and he's listening, and he's going to judge if
And
you
you're
guys are
confusing
fair
him.
to me or if you twist my words and deny everything you just said, all your usual tricks, okay? He has an impartial judge there today.
Dude,
Get away with it.
that post I did a couple days ago, though, over 510,000 views on that thing.
Right there.
Unbelievable.
Pretty crazy.
Unbelievable.
What was that?
Tommy had a big
The
fight.
next thing-
Tommy had a big fight this week, too.
Tommy, put your thing on mute.
Okay,
What?
I'll wait till he comes back.
I'm back.
Yeah,
With
you gotta-
Googles, you talk about with
Okay.
Googles?
Okay, here's Tom. This guy said, why should I spend 45 minutes on a job intake session after a headhunter who I don't know pitched me for 2 minutes? Well, he hasn't earned the right to get a half an hour of my time. And Tommy Elascio went crazy, okay? No, okay? What, you want to rehearse your answer to that or what? Okay.
Basically what it was, Rich, is I thought the guy was confused.
Got this knife in the back of the trailer and it's say that full time.
I thought he was confused. I thought that he was assuming that the 45 minutes was like a pitch. And I said to him, no, the 45 minutes is if I'm out there and I'm marketing the MPC or I'm doing whatever, and a client's like, yeah, we do have a need, then yes, a fucking intake call takes 30, 40 minutes with a new client. And this guy's like, no, and questions like, where do you see what's the success of the
Let me get in
person?
here. First of all, Eamon, tell your father that he needs to get his dyslexia treated, okay? Because what that guy wrote was very clear to me. I had no problem with it at all, okay? And here's what he said. He said, this recruiter has shown me zero understanding of my issues, zero examples, zero research. I don't want to spend time on answering standard questions like describe a day in the life of this role and what does success look like in 30 and 60 and
Well, then
90
he wasn't
days.
giving him the
So
search. He didn't give him the search. That's what I was trying to say. I'm not going to spend time with him, then you're not giving him the search. If you're giving him the search, you spend time on the phone with him. End of story.
Look how excited he is. Hey,
Oh, geez.
Because this guy's a fucking idiot.
okay, I'll say he's an idiot. Well, first of all, he wants
I'm Canadian.
he wants
Just kidding.
he wants proof that you've done research on his company and that you understand his problems. And people keep saying with AI, you can find out everything about the company ahead of time. I don't believe that. If I want to know if it's true. But the other thing is, another guy agreed with him that these standard questions are stupid. I don't know why they're stupid. Walk me through the person's day. What's wrong with that? What do you want him to accomplish in 30, 60, and 90 days? What's wrong with those questions? So there's two issues. What can you know if you're making a presentation to somebody, a 2-minute pitch, and you want to impress this guy? What should you go in with besides, hey, I'm a headhunter, I want to work with you? Anything? No answer. Zero.
I'm multitasking here. So who? I don't even know who's complaining. First, you said it was a candidate complaining. Then it was the
It's an
client.
internal. No, it's an internal recruiter, Rich.
Go
Oh,
figure. Complaints.
Wake up, gunslinger. Okay.
It's an internal
It's
recruiter
an
trying to
internal
say that he
recruiter.
knows every role in this company. He can answer every question about every role in his company,
Yeah.
yada yada yada. And I was like, "You're a fucking idiot." I didn't say that, but I wanted to pull out the Trish Tamkin overwhelm HR question, but he never gave me the title.
Well, this is the problem. All these are TAs. Like I talked to this guy yesterday. He's head of talent act. He's a nice enough guy, but he basically was like, "Hey, listen, we're a larger, they're a mid-sized company, pre-IPO still." But he's like, "Hey, and I've done a bunch of work for them." He's like, "But hey, we're only paying 70% of the base, 70% of the industry standard, because that's what we think we can do." And I'm like, and he wouldn't understand why it didn't work for salespeople, but work for engineers, which shouldn't work for anyone. But the point being is, like, these guys all live in this bubble of, hey, this is our world. Outside of our bubble doesn't matter, when it 1,000% does. And they don't want to understand it because they're so, big, they're so important, and their company is so wonderful. Why should people not want to come here for a pay cut?
And so what'd you say to him? What did you say?
I said, listen, I got one guy to take a $30,000 pay cut. I'm not sure I can get 5 more. I'm like, you want Tiffany Taste at a Walmart budget for what? It doesn't add up. You
Why
can't.
did someone do that? That's always the question I ask. Why would someone come work for your company, especially for 30% less? Give me the reasons why.
Well, this is the best part. The guy was like, that's a standard recruiter comment, and I'm like, it's because it's right. He's like, there's nothing about this company it's a great company, but it's never going to be Oracle, right? It's never going to be Microsoft. It's a good company, it's got a good valuation, everything else. But it's like in the real world, it's an interesting product, but it's not an amazing product.
This client you were talking to, was he or she a recruiter or a hiring manager?
They were a head of talent acquisition.
And that guy doesn't have any sense of what the market's out there for?
He does, but he is an HR focused TA, which means they do not want to play the game of understanding the real world, because the company does not want to pay those kinds of numbers. So they make themselves believe that they're right. And it's not right. They losing good talent for pennies is painfully silly.
It's insane.
So
it's insane.
It's insane.
It is. But then they wonder why they failed. This is a company that it's a great product, don't get me wrong, but you got high turnover already, and you've got a low percentage of guys hitting their quota. So
you know what? Tell your copywriter to use that. Losing good people for pennies is insane. Was that what you just said?
Tripping over dollars to pick up dimes is what I say. You're tripping over dollars to pick up dimes. Why do you do that?
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Eamon, do you know all your dad's cute little sayings?
A lot of them.
You can pick up a few here as well. Watch the road. Hey, don't look at me.
We're in a
okay?
parking lot.
I'm parked.
Oh,
This is his first time pulling a 40-foot trailer, so
I'm doing great.
okay. Okay. Rich, anything else you want to say about he's told us many times about even CEOs, the smart guys. They are penny pinchers. They don't realize when they have to invest in people. Okay.
Look at hiring as an expense, not an investment.
Yeah.
It's simple as that.
Okay.
and the ones who understand the sales side seem to get that, because they realize if this guy brings in $1 million, right, we make 700,000, we pay him 2, or whatever the number.
Rick is saying they don't understand it for the sales guys. That's not true, Tommy.
No, they don't. A lot of them don't care, because like their quota, like if you're bringing in a sales guy and your quota is $1 million, the corporate number typically is only like 700,000. Like they don't actually expect people to hit their number, which is the bizarre thing. Like I heard some stat recently. It said like at least for software sales guys, as an industry, only 35% of people actually hit their number. Yet every rep claims they never miss, which is the best part. But it's the
what do you say then when you present the candidate to another company and you can't say he never hits quota because they make it so high? How do you?
Yeah, they say, listen, this guy was in the top 10% of the company. That's how you present it. I don't give.
Well, you have some other way to measure.
I would say he sold 6 million, 5 million, and 4 million, or 9 million. I wouldn't say what percent of quota it was.
Well, isn't that a natural question for the client to ask you? Did this guy hit quota, or this was?
Yeah, but you just deflect it by saying, like Tommy said, hey, he was in the top 10% of the company. He closed $5 million. He closed 7 new logos. Whatever. A lot of these companies. Listen. There's bad reps. There's bad companies. There's bad plans. And there's bad leaders. Just because someone doesn't hit their quota doesn't make them a bad rep, quite frankly. And in sales, most managers don't believe you if you say you hit your number 10 years in a row, because it's fucking hard. It's near impossible. Deals slip, things happen. Your accounts change, your product changes, the market changes.
I knew an old company that every time that their guys would max out, like their quota was $1 million, and you did $1.2 million. Next year's quota was $1.7 million. And if you didn't hit $1.7 million, you didn't make your bonus, so they marched you down back to, and they would guys another year. because they would max their quota
Tommy,
out,
you're
and then
you're on Wi-Fi, crapping out.
Okay, I'm going to do my ads while he's out. Okay, Tommy, Eamon, I guess you don't know, your dad is the king of recruiting shows, okay? He's got his big show at 12:30 Eastern time on Fridays, where you call in and talk to his group. He's got his
There you go.
He's got his Tuesday night show, 5 o'clock Eastern time, where you call in and ask him personally questions. Okay, anybody can ask for free consulting. Free consulting from a master recruiter, okay? And you can find that link as well at the recruiterroundtable.com. Is it Recruiter Roundtable or Recruiters Roundtable?
the recruiterroundtable.com. Love Recruiter Roundtable.
Okay, and his final show is once every 3 weeks. It's about applicant tracking systems, specifically Loxo and Jobin, but you could talk about any of them, okay? And that's every third Thursday at 4:30 Eastern. Am I right about that? 4:30 p.m.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, and here is, Richie Rich Rosen. I've been talking about him for years as America's recruiter, okay? But now, after I'm reading his copywriter, he's the gunslinger, okay? He's the gunslinger. He's walking down Main Street looking for trouble, okay? Yeah, he's a recruiter, and he's got a class
I got one.
every Thursday morning, 8:45 a.m. It's online. A fairly nice-sized group of recruiters, strictly confidential. You come in and ask him every question that you have, and he talks about it. Trish talks about it, and the other people in the class talk about it, and they saw. And the thing is, I consider the big virtue of Rich. He won't stop you. You got a question? Come on. He doesn't say, "Hey, that's stupid, buzz off." No, he talks to you. Just like he talks to me, as you can see. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Here's
One
another
thing about Rich and I both is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rich, we both like to give back. We both like to help those who want to be helped.
100%. 100%. That's what it's all about. It's a lot more fun. So.
Okay, here's another. Should I give another Rich posting, or should I go on to something
I'm
else?
glad to give you so much material. You're gonna have to start paying my guy.
Yeah, I have to, mind you, I told you I know a lot of those stories already, but he puts a little.
Yeah.
Okay. Although you're the master. Okay, I'm not going to say this guy. You don't like to do writing, but as far as your virtue is, I bet he doesn't talk anywhere near as well as you do. Okay, he can write. Okay, he's a keyboard warrior. Okay, well, what about this? I'll move on to something else. This, for the LinkedIn strategy, check who viewed your profile every morning, okay? Those are warm leads. Get in touch with them within 24 hours. Would you guys agree? I've never heard either of you say that. Although Rich says...
I mean, just to, like I get a lot of people look at my profile. I don't give a shit about other recruiters or whatnot. But yes, potential clients, potential candidates, absolutely.
You get in touch with them? Yeah?
Yeah, if you get someone like you get all these posts, if you get a post and all these feedback, and you can see a VP hang in there, why not reach out and say, "Hey, I appreciate you commented on the post. Just want to see how things are going at XYZ."
That's it.
And also, I would say this: comment on the clients you want to do work with. Comment on their posts.
Yeah,
the clients you want to do work with, or like their post, or share their post, right? Because that's interaction that they see with you. So when you call them, they go, "Oh, you were that guy that shared my post."
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or you make a comment, like a real comment, not just, "Hey, congrats, Tommy." Like, "Hey, how did you handle this situation in that area? Or what are you guys going to do with this new whatever?" It's all you can literally hire someone just to comment on comments.
No, this guy said comment on 5 prospect posts daily. So go to 5, make it sure you've got a quota of 5 of them, people you want to work with, let them know who you are. I've been talking about this for years. I call it the suck up philosophy. Okay. You want to give them, you don't ever say anything bad though. How honest are you in the comments? Will you critique what they said?
Depends. It's okay to be polarizing. It's okay to have an opinion that disagrees and start a conversation.
So you'll say, "Hey, Jimmy, I disagree with that, and here's why." And then you'll send them a direct message. "Hey, let's do business." Is that right?
Means
just like that.
That's a Cliff Notes version, but yeah.
And let's do business. I'm going to teach you a few things that I can see you don't know about. Okay, how about that?
Exactly. That's one way. Let's try it this way. I mean, no, but it's okay to do polarizing stuff. You don't need to be so vanilla and fit in like the rest of Canada. This is Fun Canada Day. And you can actually have opinions that disagree with people, even the hiring manager, and still work with them because they know you're actually going to want to help them, not just say yes to them.
Okay. Well, Rich, before you've told us, and this goes towards my next question, but you've told us before that you can have minimal influence on how a client handles a search. They don't see you as a consultant, okay? They do it their way, okay? And you don't want to muddy the waters by getting them mad at you. I think I remember that. Maybe I'm hallucinating.
Some don't.
Yeah, why do you always fucking black and white, man? Jesus Christ. Every single time I come on the show, everything is fucking black and white in Canada. Jesus Christ.
It's not Canada, it's reality, you guys, okay?
No, reality is not black and white.
Okay, I'll bet I'm right, and I'm going to prove it now with this question. Watch how they answer, okay? Here it is, okay? Can a recruiter get a client to shorten a long hiring process? This guy says a long hiring process is a disaster. I've lost so many candidates because they drag out the recruiting process, okay? They lose out on good candidates. It's a ton of wasted time.
Way too long.
What?
Absolutely. I can give you a real world example. 100% I can do that.
Absolutely. You can't, again, not always, Tommy.
Exactly. Not always.
Yes, some you can't.
Hold on.
McElroy Medal, 2001, Tommy Johnson. I recruited him. I sent him the resume and I said, here's your guy, but you can't get him because you drag your feet. You can't get him because he's going to accept an offer with Metal Sales. And if you don't do it quick, you're not going to get him. And guess what? They fucking ran that search through so quick, hired a guy, and he's still there 20 some years later.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, honestly, some companies, you tell them, hey, listen, double up on your interviews. Put 2 people in an interview panel. Just do, instead of 4 interviews, do 2 interviews, 2 people in each call. I mean, some companies will do it, some won't. But
have everybody come to the plant the same day and run them the interviews in the same day at the plant. Yep.
You think that big truck would have better Wi-Fi?
Okay. Hey, did you see this one?
One of
the groups, somebody said in the comments, not everyone is Rich Rosen, okay?
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, and it was pertaining to that other issue we talked about, but the same issue was handled on another group. This guy said, we're trained to force a full job order intake session on the very first call with prospects. That's a big mistake. We expect them to spend an hour on the phone with us getting drilled with questions. But not everyone is a Rich Rosen. Our reputations don't precede us. We're not Forbes #1 recruiters, okay?
First of all, not it. That's not the reason why I get it done. The reason why I get it done is because I know my clients, I know my business, I know the questions I need to get asked. And there's important questions that get answered. There's unimportant questions that can wait, But here's the things I need to do to get started. And here's the agreement. Once you get the agreement signed, then I can go back and, hey, let's finish up the conversation.
How long is your intake session then?
It depends on the client. Some are 15 minutes, it could be an hour.
Okay.
And that's what I didn't understand with that guy. If you're going to give a recruiter a search and you say, okay, we're going to rely on you to find us this bottle washer in Chicago, but we're only going to give you 10 minutes. Like, what is that? I don't understand his thinking.
That is a shitty search is what that is. That's what
But you just said you'll take it, okay?
No, you dumbass, that's not what I said. They're not giving me any time. I am not starting that search. If they want to give me a retainer, hey, and then they want to continue the conversation, fantastic. I wouldn't start that search with no information. Why would you? I mean, if a guy can't give you key pieces of info, you're not going anywhere. You're wasting your time. That is being busy, not productive.
Okay, you said a minute ago, and I've got Amy.
I'm trying to caveat it by saying 15 minutes of actual relevant information.
No. I got Amen as my witness. I don't have to say God. I got a real human being here as my witness. Okay, and you said, sometimes I've got essential questions up front that I have to get answered, and I can get the rest done later. Okay,
I'm not working on a search till I have an agreement. It doesn't matter.
You need the
Okay,
information.
so
you need the information. End of story.
You won't do the intake session until you've got the fee agreement signed?
No. I will. Oh, Animal. God,
I
Lord.
want to know.
Now, when you go, how are we going to know when you actually get old? I mean,
I'm a little down. Okay.
I know. No, listen, if I can get pertinent information, I will send the agreement over. Even if I get no pertinent information, they say, hey, send me the agreement. Great. I'll send it over. Then we'll have the conversation. If they are not going to give me needed information and be readily accessible in a reasonable time frame, it's not worth your time. You are just wasting your time. It's super simple.
Like, I'm so confused, okay?
Listen, when you go into the room, you turn the lights on.
Yeah, thanks.
When you leave, you turn them off, right?
This guy who says, I'm not Rich Rosen. I can't ride in on my reputation. He says that
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You need the information to be effective. I don't care if you're a newbie or me or Rich. If you're going to do the search, you need the fucking information.
If you don't mind me chiming in, I think that, like, perfect example, when I go to a house, because like I'm doing outside sales, when I go to a house, and if there's no information about that lead, if I don't know what the problem is, if I don't know why I'm going out, if I don't get a phone call from the customer, I'm not going. I'm not even attempting to drive an hour and a half to go assess that lead.
That's
because
completely irrelevant. Your parents don't work like that. Your father gets on the phone with people he doesn't know anything about, okay?
An hour and a half.
2 hours of time is 2 hours of time.
Yeah. I mean, the end of the day is people don't care who I am. I wish more people knew who I was.
Okay, let me move on from that, Rich. He said, if you're not rich and you can't, I'm a nobody. Okay, well, Rich tells us there's 500,000 people reading his postings on LinkedIn, and now he says, I'm a nobody. Nobody knows who I am.
We all started somewhere. And when I did my job searches, I took 30 minutes. When I was a newbie, I talked to Valley Joyce, my first retainer in 1999. I was on the phone with Fred Steele for 40 minutes, and he didn't know shit. I didn't know shit from Chinola at the time, but he gave me 40 minutes to give me all the information for the search.
Do they have a pain? Did you actually give them a reason to talk to you?
Yeah.
I mean, I got my first 2 deals done in my first 10 days as a recruiter. What the fuck did I know? I mean,
exactly.
And that was nursing homes. I mean, the directors of nursing and supervisors. What did I know?
Let me get by this. If you're not somebody like a certain person we know who's got a huge reputation as America's recruiter, okay? This guy says, don't pester them so much on that first call. Send them a pitch deck. What?
He sounds like a pussy.
Pitch deck.
Oh my God. I'm going to put together a fucking PowerPoint presentation so some guy can delete that like he does my emails? Fuck that.
Exactly. Here's a pamphlet too. Here's a flyer for his mailbox. No.
Okay. He also says
procrastination.
Build out your website. Now I know Rich was building up his website, but if you're a headhunter, you don't want all kinds of irrelevant candidates sending you their resumes and stuff. Why does, like Jerry always said, what do I need a website for? I'm not receiving candidates. I'm going out looking for them.
It's Jerry's business now. So every time I see Jerry thing, he's like, this stinks.
A website is it doesn't have to be fancy, but just like you have to have a LinkedIn profile, you have to have a website, right? Just so you know who you are. You're a legit company.
It out. Make it fancy. Talk about yourself.
It's a plaque outside your house, basically. So it's the thing. You can go to lovable.dev and build a great website in 10 seconds for free now. And it'll look professional, and that's really all you need. You don't need it to be, these guys that are spending $10,000, $20,000 on their website are
I don't
crazy.
get it. I don't get it. I
You
don't
know.
get. People don't come to my website and go, "Oh my God, I got to call Tom." Like, very rarely,
Mhm.
very rarely.
It's all it does substantiates your existence that you're not a scam.
Exactly.
You know.
There you go. Thank you. That's the word I
You
was
got
looking
your
for.
son knocking on doors instead of working as a recruiter.
I don't knock on
The
doors.
better question is, wait. The better question is, why are you two not working right now? That's the better
Oh,
question.
he's
buying
going to
horses.
he's going to Bonnaroo, and we had to rent a big ass fucking trailer and a big ass fucking truck so we can take the trailer. And I had to go with him because he's only 22, and you have to be 25 to drive the truck and trailer. But I'm not
Gotcha.
going to
Where's
Bonnaroo. I'm
Bonnaroo?
just making it short. He could drive this. Tennessee.
Where is Tennessee? Nice.
Tennessee.
Fun.
Okay. Final question. Do you guys have a topic that you like? I've got lots of them. Okay, here's a crazy
No,
one. Final
we
tip.
rely on you to stimulate our minds and give us topics.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. After several virtual interviews, I was unexpectedly summoned to the HR office of the company I was applying to work for. Okay. Upon arriving, I was made to wait for hours. When I was finally called in, the HR representative requested a series of documents, 4 copies each, many of which were irrelevant. She then asked me to step out, get them ready, and come back in. When I returned, she kept me waiting in the reception area for another hour. I don't know if this is true. Finally, I said to her, what's going on? She says, I was testing your patience. Okay, it's the patience interview. Do you believe that story?
I find it very hard to believe, and if it's true, I would have took a dump on her desk and left.
Yeah.
No. Oh, ouch. Okay, I don't believe it
That
either.
is so disrespectful. That is so. I don't care how big of a company you are or how many applicants you had or whatever it was. That is the most disrespectful fucking thing a person can do to another human being.
Uh-huh.
Take a dump on
That
your
just
desk.
shows me the company wants to waste my time.
Oh, I didn't say how to get in touch with Rich. Rich at cornerstonesearch.com or go to Moore Essentials. Moore. I disappeared. What happened?
Nope, I see it. I can see it.
Okay.
I can see it.
Okay. Moore Essentials. Moore Essentials.com, because Trish Tamkin from that company does the show or the class with Rich, and she doesn't agree with anything he says. Okay. That's the greatest part. The kid,
She's fantastic too, by the way. She's fantastic.
Not everything, Animal.
the students there say, Mom said, whenever Rich says something, they say, Mom disagrees. Mom said this. Okay. They run back and forth. They play one off against the other. Okay. So we got 6 minutes left, but I think we're talked out for the day, you guys. Anything else you'd like to raise? You didn't say hi to Tommy's son. His name is Eamon. And
Cayman, like the island.
Oh, Cayman. Oh, yeah, sorry, Cayman. And one of the daughters is Mahalia, and I can't remember what's the other one?
Tallulah.
Tallulah. Oh, fantastic.
In that family. They just love the vowels. God.
Tallulah. Okay, everybody. Thanks for coming. Eamon, nice to meet you. Come back anytime. We'll shoot you down every time.